Welcome to a short and simple explanation about Arctic. The word Arctic is from the Sanskrit Arotika, which means to remove darkness. I have divided this class into two sections. Part 1 is about the Arctic items. Part 2 about offering Arctic. So we begin now with part 1, the Arctic items. You can purchase most of the items at Indian shops in large cities. So let's look at what items are on an Arctic tray. First, there is a spoon and water pot. The clean water in the pot is a purifying agent and is sprinkled with the spoon on each item before being offered to the deities. A bell with a nice long handle is generally held in the left hand and rung during the Arctic ceremony. The sound of the ringing bell conveys to the deities that Arctic is being offered to them, and it informs anyone attending Arctic that the ceremony is now taking place. Incense or dhupa, the pleasing aroma from burning incense, is offered to the deities. Usually an odd number, such as 1 or 3 sticks. But beware of cheap incense for offering, as it usually just produces lots of smoke with no or very little delightful aroma for the deities. Lamps. There are 2 different lamps with Ghee Wicks. One lamp has 1 ghee wick with crushed camphor sprinkled on the wick. And when it's lit, the smell of the camphor is offered to the deities. There are 2 types of camphor that you can purchase: the edible camphor and the synthetically made camphor. Real camphor, that's the edible one, is made by distilling the bark and wood of the camphor tree. You can purchase real camphor from some Indian shops. Real camphor can be used in cooking, such as sweet rice, and just a pinch is needed. Synthetic camphor is chemically manufactured from turpentine oil. The synthetic camphor burns lots of black smoke, which can damage your ceiling, create lots of problems on the ceiling. And synthetic camphor is poisonous, so never use it in your cooking. The synthetic camphor is sold in Indian shops, as well as ordinary supermarkets, so be aware of that. Buy the real camphor when you're looking. The second ghee lamp has an odd number of wicks, usually 3 or 5. Now the wicks are soaked in ghee, and ghee is very auspicious. So when the wicks are lit, the aroma of the ghee is offered to the deities. You can purchase the ghee wicks in packets from Indian shops, sometimes little boxes full of ghee wicks pre-made for you, ready to go. Or you can make your own wicks from cotton wool balls. Melt some ghee in a small pot, remove it from the heat, and then place your ghee wicks, whether they're the ones you've made yourself or the ones you purchased from the Indian shop, and submerge them in the ghee, and then drain them, ready for offering in your lamps. A small conch is called a Jala, is filled with fragrant water. When you're setting up your Arctic tray, you already pour some fragrant water, maybe some water that's got some rose water in it. This rose water can be purchased from the Indian shop, And you can actually get rose water from any supermarket. Usually you go down the aisle where all the ingredients are for making cakes, and you'll find little bottles of rose water. The conch filled with this water is offered to the deities for their bathing pleasure. A cloth is always offered after you've offered the water for them to bathe, and the cloth is for their drying after their bath. You can purchase very nice handkerchiefs from gift stores. Fragrant flowers, Puspa, or even if you can only have one fragrant flower, is offered to the deities for their delight. A whisk, or a Camara, as it is also called, is offered in the summertime. The whisk is meant to brush away any flies that may be present in the summer heat. It is made from the tail of a yak and was traditionally used by servants to fan the kings and great personalities. If you can't purchase a yak whisk from an Indian store, this item is sometimes not included in the Arctic ceremony. A peacock fan is offered in the spring, the summer definitely, and the mild autumn to cool the deities. If you cannot purchase a peacock fan, you might be able to make one from individual peacock feathers that you've purchased from, like a crafts shop. Or you can offer any type of small fan as long as it creates a pleasing breeze for the deities. And finally, a large conch shell, Sankar. The conch is blown at the end of the Arctic ceremony, usually 3 times. The sound is very auspicious and it announces the conclusion of the ceremony. So those are the items that are found on an Arctic tray. In the next lesson, we will discuss how to offer each of those items for Arctic. Namaste.